Hi, welcome to Teach With Me. I am Miss Jen. Today we are going to be making the next picture in our A to Z Directed Draw series. Today we are on the letter L, and it is this. It is a ladybug. And then we're going to be doing the writing that goes with it. We're going to do the writing together. Remember, this is the A to Z series is a book we are making, and when we're finished, we will have a completed book that you can display or give out at open house. It's one of the completed projects I used to do. And that is it. You will need a felt tip pen, crayons, and printer paper. Let's begin. All right, so before we begin, make sure their papers are turned landscape. And when I do this, I'm going to show you step by step how, what I would say to the kids. Okay, so today we're making a ladybug. The very first thing I'm going to tell the boys and girls to do is to make a large circle in the center of their paper. And you're going to get kids that give you small circles, and you're going to get kids that give you enormous circles. The only criteria is that there is a little room left above and below and to the side. Okay, so then I'm going to say, boys and girls, very good circles. I'll have them hold it up and show it to me before we continue on. Then I'm going to say, we're going to go to the very top of your circle you just made, and we're going to make kind of a half circle. It's going to start on one side of the ladybug's body and go to the other side. I will have my samples on the board, and I'll be doing this with them as well. I'm going to say great job, and we're going to go up here and we're going to make the antenna, and I'll point to where point to the part that we're doing, and then we'll do it together. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to say, boys and girls, we're going to make two curved lines, one on the right side, one on the left side, and then put a little circle on the end of their antenna. I'm going to tell them then what we're going to do is we're going to come to the inside of the circle, and we're going to make a line, a kind of a slanted line that goes from here to the bottom. And we're going to do that on the other side too, kind of slanted. What I want to have is an open section in the middle so that it looks like their wings are opening up. All right. Then, before we make the spots and all of that, what we're going to do is we're going to make the legs. Now, insects have 6 legs, all insects do. So we're going to make our legs sort of like this. And they're symmetrical. That means if there's a leg on this side, there's one on this side. If there's one here, there's one here. If there's one here, there's one here. Remember, boys and girls, no legs come out of their head. They're only on the circle part. Okay, so I'm going to go like this. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to go up and come out a little bit. This is a gentle curve. I don't want it to be super bent. And I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go back and follow it back. And I'm going to do that there, and then in the center. And then I'm going to curve it back and come back to the front. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing here towards the bottom. Slightly curve, follow that curve back, and touch the body. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to make my my legs, one's here, so the other one's going to be right here. And I'm going to really, if I have kids who are having trouble, I'm going to just say to them, show me where you're making your leg. Point to where you're going to make your next leg. Okay, everyone, point to where you're making the next leg. And I just realized these are a little bit not quite as long as the other side. Oopsie, I didn't even make a curve on that one. There we go. Well, there we go. Now, the next thing I want to show you is how to do the spots. So when I show the boys and girls how to do the spots, we've already had a discussion on symmetry a little bit before we do this. I mean, we use symmetry with the legs, we use symmetry with in our discussion, and I'm going to tell them now the spots are also symmetrical. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show them, they're going to copy me exactly with the spots. They're going to go like this. I'm going to say, boys and girls, let's make a half a circle on this side of the wing. Don't do anything in the middle. And then, boys and girls, let's do a half circle on this side of the wing. Goodness gracious, this is going to be colored in black, so I'm going to fix that a little bit. You won't be able to tell once you color it in. Okay, if you're concerned about the boys and girls coloring in the center part, the very first thing you can do is just to go ahead and color in that center part so that they know that's not where they're drawing their circles. So I'm going to just go ahead and color and just do a quick little color here, just so that that is off limits when we are making their spots. Alrighty, go back and color that better later. Now I'm going to make another spot. I'm going to come down here, I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to say, boys and girls, follow your finger across, and let's make another one. Try to make them about the same size. Then I'm going to make a circle here in the center, the complete circle, and I'm going to say follow it across and try to make one exactly the same. Then we'll keep doing a few more until they have enough circles. You can give them the option of stopping when they think they have enough circles. I'm going to put one here, and I'm going to follow it across and put one here. You see it's across the whole leg, so I'm going to do the same thing. All right, now we're not finished yet because now we have to do the background, and so and color it, of course. So I'm going to draw the ladybug on a giant leaf. So all you're going to do, I'm going to say, boys and girls, come up to the top of your paper, the very tip top, and we're going to draw a shape all the way around the ladybug. This ladybug is on a leaf, so we're going to make a curved line, and we're going to end it right underneath the ladybug, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side, curve around the other direction, and have those two lines meet. And there you go. Let me show you how I colored it. So of course I used my shading crayon, and for those who don't know, it is simply a broken crayon that I've repurposed to do my background. I don't like to leave backgrounds white, and that's what I teach the students. Then they'll color their leaf green, and then the ladybug will be red, of course. All right, so time for the writing. All right, so attached to the paper we just did our picture on, we have our writing. I will not attach it until we are completed, until the writing is complete, in case we make mistakes. But I have mine already pre-written. All right, so what are we writing on here? You can have a blank paper for this, by the way, or one with a beginning of a frame on it. So today we're going to write L is for ladybugs. This is always our first sentence. Whatever our letter is, our first sentence is the letter plus what we drew. L is for ladybugs. So we're going to do this together. I'm going to walk you through the process. This would be on the board behind the students because this is done in small group. I have my sentences color coded. That way the students can easily look up at the board and figure out where they are in their sentence writing. And so let's begin. I'm going to take my paper and show you how I would do this. I have a little shadow here. I apologize. Lighting is not my strength. But anyway, here we go. L is, and again, I would do this in pencil. I'm just doing it in marker so you can kind of see it better. All right, L is for, and I'm making sure the whole time that they are paying attention to their spacing, that they are forming their letters correctly. I'm going to do it actually in pencil so I can show you what I would do if they make a mistake. So again, your final copy has to be approved by you. So you're watching them as they do their work. And if they make an incorrect letter, you're going to correct it. They'll say, oh, I'm done. L is for ladybugs. And I'll say, I see something that's different. And again, I'm giving them the clue. I see something different. And they'll say, oh, I didn't put a period. And I'll say, good job. All right, so now what could happen is the boys and girls could, well, I'll say, boys and girls, you're on the blue sentence now. Good job. Ladybugs' spots are symmetrical. Ladybug spots are symmetrical. And so here we've begun making sure that we are putting the sentences, if we have room, on that same line. So this is the first time we've done on the first line. So I'm going to say, boys and girls, where do we start our sentences at? And they'll say here. I'll say, well, we could, but look, do we still have room here? And they will say yes, and I'll say, so let's start our sentence here. But this one's going to be a little weird because the two words are back to back, so that might throw the boys and girls off a little bit. I didn't think of that when I was making my sample. But you can change it to a pronoun and make it their spots are symmetrical. All right, ladybugs. I say, okay, do we have enough room here? They'll say yes, and I'll say, well, we don't want to go off the line. So if we don't go off the lines, do we have enough space? And they'll say no. I said, well, where should we go? Because I want them to realize where they're going next. It's important. Things that you take for granted, you really have to point out to the boys and girls, because they don't. They may never have heard it. They probably have never heard it, especially if they're in kindergarten. Ladybug spots are, and then finger space, symmetrical. So let's say they make a letter. Let's say, I'm going to just say they left off that other M. And so you may, and I'm going to say they made this a big L. Okay. And they'll say, I'm done. I'll say, let's read it. Ladybug spots are symmetrical. So I've said many times, you have to fix mistakes when they are just learning to write, because it's so much harder to unlearn a mistake than it is to do it, to learn it correctly the first time. I have had second and third graders before, fourth graders even, that could not properly print or did not know how to properly form a sentence. That's why, even though doing like this sort of a paragraph, it's not a kindergarten standard, there is no reason that you can't teach them how to properly write their sentences. They do have to write sentences, so let them learn it correctly. This activity is not the phonemic spelling, or the phonetical spelling where they're sounding out words. That's a different lesson. This is structure of writing and printing. Okay, so ladybug spots are symmetrical. So that might sound better if I said a ladybug spots are symmetrical, but we're gonna go with it. I'm gonna say, let's look at our letters. This word, this was a long, hard word, and I think there's a couple of mistakes. Let's look at it. S, Y, M, M, O. Do you see that? And then I'm gonna make sure they see the L. And look at that L. Is that L the same as mine? No, that's an uppercase. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and erase this for you, okay? And we'll fix that last part. And most boys and girls, if you are just very, very encouraging, are not upset when they have to redo something. You do have some occasionally, but you just have to be encouraging, because for some boys and girls, getting constructive feedback may not be something they've gotten before. All right. Oh, goodness gracious. I did it again. I'm just going to move these three letters this direction. Move. Sorry about that. It's been a day. All right. Anyway, ladybug spots are symmetrical. And then the last one is going to be, did you know they can be red, orange, or yellow? So when they get to this part, I'm going to say, look at this. This is, you still have room. You did this one so fast. Let's go ahead and add one more sentence, shall we? And I'll say, boys and girls, where are we going to start it at? If they say here, I'm going to say, excellent, you remembered, because we still have a little room here, don't we? We can't write the whole thing, but we still have space. And they'll say, yeah. I said, okay, so let's go ahead and start. And then I want you to tell me when you think I need to move to the next row. Did, finger space, you, finger space. And hopefully they realize we don't have enough space here, because I always tell them if they start squeezing in words here, I make them erase it and put it on the next line. Did you know they can be red, orange, or yellow? All right, I'm just going to write this quickly, and then we'll move on. They can be red. All right, now I'm going to say, remember yesterday when or 2 days ago, I told you about commas. When we have more than one describing word, we are going to put a comma between it. And I said, look at this one. We have red, orange, and yellow describing ladybugs. So we have 3 words. Ladybugs can be red, comma. They can be orange, comma, or yellow. Now, for all of you younger teachers, when I was growing up, we did not have to put commas between the last two describing words, and so I never remembered to do that because it's just not something we had to do. This was something that was added over the last, I don't know, 20 years or so. So anyway, I'll make sure I tell them to put that comma there. So that's why it wasn't in my sample. All right, so, and don't forget your question mark at the end. All right, well, I hope you found that helpful. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share. Get the word out. I think these videos are very helpful for teaching directed drawing and writing, guided writing. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. Like, subscribe, and share, and see you next time.